I started to really consider suicide. I felt like my life didn't mean anything. And I know that's further from the truth. And when you're thinking depressing thoughts, you start feeling like, that's true. That's true. I'm nothing. I will never be nothing. I made a lot of mistakes. Nobody loves me, you know? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Janicia, and this video, I wanted to get a little personal. I haven't really did any of these sit down videos in a minute, and I really want to share with you my story, my struggle with depression. If you're struggling with depression, hopefully my story gives you some type of encouragement and it just can help you in some type of way. That's the only thing I could hope for. But to get things started, when I was growing up, I don't really remember being depressed. I don't even think I knew what depression was growing up, but certainly when I entered my 20s, I am now 30. When I entered my 20s, I think that's when I started to realize something was off, or I was more sad than, happy, or these spurts, or it usually would come in waves, like a week at a time, that started to occur more frequently. And I didn't know if it was something to do with my personality. I didn't know if it had something to do with my circumstances. I didn't know what it was coming from, but I certainly know I kept feeling it over and over and over. I remember I had a friend, and she would tell me about her encounters with depression and how she would go through it. And at the time, I guess I still didn't really know what depression was. And it was kind of like I was peeking through her window and kind of like observing how depression happened in her life, or what it would look like, not functioning, not eating. Some people say not bathing, not just taking care of yourself. Normal life pauses, during that time. And I would be just kind of mesmerized in a sense, because I'm like, how you not function because of, something you're thinking about? And lo and behold, it started to happen to me where, I want to say about college. I want to say maybe when I was about 22 is when I started that door opened up, or it just started to happen, and I started to identify it, right? So when it would occur, I wouldn't do anything for a week at a time. When I would say these cycles would come up, it would be for literally 7 days. And then I would go back to normal life. And then, in a month or two or whatever, another 7 days, I wouldn't work. When I was in school, I didn't really feel like doing my schoolwork. When I got older and I started working for myself and, doing my own self-employment, situations, I would just, not really keep up with the work I had. I wouldn't want to be around anybody. When I say anybody, I mean, I don't want to be around them. I don't want to talk to nobody on the phone. I don't want to read a text message. I want no humans to be on the earth during those days. And it was really sad because, I know people had great intentions and they would want to hang out, or, just people call in and check up on you, and you would just simply not answer the phone and just ignore it. And I hated it. I hated these cycles. And then as I got older, later in my 20s, around 28, is when it just got worse, when it just came back to back. When I got older, at 28, it started coming once a month, once every 3 weeks, very frequently. And it was really interfering with my life, and I would just get ghost out of nowhere. And I don't know if people thought that this is how Janicia is. You may hear from her one day, and then you may not hear from her the next. You may hear from her frequently, and then you may think she fell off the planet. I think people just kind of got used to me coming to them when I was ready to come to them. And I didn't like that. I hated that part. But I also knew when I was in that mode, I don't care. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I will always feel what is wrong with me? Why do I keep going through this? I'm not seeing anybody else around me who is going through depression like I am, or at least they're not expressing it. And to a couple people, I would also be yeah, I'm struggling with this, or I would tell them after I got out of, a little cycle or whatever. But I just wondered, like, why is nobody feeling like the way I am? Like, I'm generally a very happy person. I don't know if you see like my videos, but I'm always smiling. That's me all day. But when this depression hit, I'm not smiling. I'm just like numb. And it wouldn't be like an extreme sadness. It would be like a just numb. Like, I don't feel nothing at all. There's things in my life that I wanted that I didn't have yet, and I just let that just speak loud to me. And I love God. I love Jesus. No matter how much I would try to fight it, I kind of felt like I couldn't find any relief. I would go into it and I would push God away, and then I would try to pull my way out of it and then cling back onto God, and I'd be good. And then I would just like, my mind would just get so bottled up with all these thoughts. I would push myself away from God again. And then I would, the same cycle, grab back on, like, God, please help me. The only thing I can say is I hated this. I hated that my mind would go to these dark places. I hated that I would have these dark thoughts. I hated that I had suicidal thoughts. I remember, on this channel, I move a lot and I do a lot of things on faith. But when I moved to Charlotte, my mind just went somewhere else. I just felt attacked in my thoughts like nobody's business, like very attacked in my thoughts. And depression got really bad, to the point where I started to really consider suicide. And I not only considered it, I started to make a plan for it. And I told my best friend about it after. And she really stayed on top of me to really encourage me. And the crazy thing is that I had a plan and I had a date. And I was like, if nothing happens in my life, like, I'm just gonna, go out, and I felt like my life didn't mean anything. And I know that's further from the truth. And when you're thinking depressing thoughts, it's a lot of self-hatred that goes on. There's a lot of, you don't mean anything. Your life is worth nothing. If you die, nobody would care. A lot of, what are you adding to the world? A lot of things that you got wrong in your life, and, see what your life is now because of what you did before. Thoughts of like, you'll never be what you thought you would be. And in that moment, it feels so real. In that moment, when you look at your life, you start feeling like, that's true. That's true. I'm nothing. I will never be nothing. I made a lot of mistakes. Nobody loves me, nobody even called me today, I probably ignored the phone calls that did get called, but nobody really called me today. Or, what, nobody's checking up on me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, you will have a bunch of different reasons for why these thoughts are true and real and why you should take them seriously, right? And I think God was trying to get my attention, to say, like, don't listen to those thoughts. At that time, stuff was really hard. And if you watched one of my older videos, when I transitioned here to Charlotte, a lot of my clients that I had for video editing, fell through. And so I didn't have any, money. And that added to the pressure of my life and my thinking and, bills and all kind of stuff. And the day I said that I was going to take my life is the day I got a job. Like, literally, the day the recruiter called me and was like, you're hired. And I just seen it as God was like, don't give up. Like, I see you. I'm right here with you. I love you. Those thoughts in your head, they're not real. They're lying to you. And I remember my best friend called me on that day and she was like, I wanted to call and tell you I love you on the day, because I told her the day I said that I planned. Closer to that date, my mind had turned around more. So I wasn't going to follow through with it. But the fact that she called me on that day just gave me another kiss of like, God, sees me, people do love me. And it just let me know like these thoughts in your head are lies, man, like lies, lies, lies. And they will present a lot of false evidence or a lot of evidence that appears that these thoughts are true, but they're not, because there is a God who thinks so many other thoughts about you, and they have nothing. They don't look or sound like any of those thoughts that depression brings. And I realized that this depression was not of God. God does not give you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Not a crazy mind, not a schizo mind, not a fearful mind, not a paranoid and anxious, depressed mind, but a sound mind. And so if he gives me that, then who is giving me the mind that is not sound? Okay, that is Satan. That's the devil. That's him influencing me. That's a spirit that I have to push back. But because I have allowed those thoughts over years, over like 10 years, my mind has been transformed, and now I automatically think depressing thoughts. So it's not even like, a spirit has to influence me. I automatically go there because I have trained my mind to think in terms of depression. I've trained myself to be numb. I've trained myself that if something doesn't go right, that I automatically feel like, oh, there we go again. I'll never be nothing. Like, I realized my mind, my body, my routines were trained from this spirit and from this mindset. And I had enough. I really had enough. I feel like I had to keep pushing against this wall to realize, like, Janicia, when are you going to wake up? Like, there would be so many instances in my life where I would feel like I'm done. Like, that time with suicide, that was the worst it had ever gotten. But there had been other times where I was like, I'm just done with life. I'm just done with trying. I'm just done with trying to grow my business. I'm just done with, God. I'm just done with, it's so many things that I just like gave up. And I realized in that moment that I can either keep having this miserable life going in these cycles, or I can change, and I can try it, or I can approach this a different way. And just the same way that my mind was trained over these years to feel depressed and feel like I was nothing, I can change my mind to feel like I am something and fuel myself with positive thoughts. And not just positive thoughts like affirmations every day, like you are the greatest and you are beautiful. Like that helps too. But really, what does God say about me? And really fighting back, because in a lot of times in depression, you don't fight back. You lay down and you get ran over. You lay down and these things just keep bombarding your mind. You just take it. It's like letting someone come rob your house and you not fight back, or you not say no. You can have whatever you want. That's what we do when depression comes. And sometimes we lay back because we're just tired. And maybe we feel like we have fought before and we didn't win the battle of your mind. But I really had to say enough is enough, and I'm not going through this anymore. I want to talk about this in a future video, but I had to divorce depression. I had to stop treating it like it's my friend. I had to stop calling depression my depression. I had to stop acting like it was just the disease I have. I had to be like, no, this is not acceptable. This is not my life. This is not something I'm finna struggle with for the rest of my life. I say no. It's not all these cycles and all this kind of stuff, and always having to go through therapy. And I've seen therapists as well. I always had to feel like this is something that was going to follow me forever. I was like, no, I'm not having this the rest of my life. I have other options. And I don't just read the Bible. I believe the Bible. I don't just believe that, diseases can be cured and somebody can. I believe that that's possible for me. And that goes with mindset. That goes with, spirit. I believe in deliverance. I believe in all that stuff. And if I believe that this is true, then why can't it be true for me? And so I'll talk about that, at another video, when I just kind of rose up and the revelation that I got that really changed and shifted me forever. But I wanted to, in this video, is just share my story and to let you know that wherever you are, I have been there. I have been chronically depressed. Sometimes under the radar. Most people probably didn't know. A lot of people did. I don't want to always be talking about my mental health and my depression forever. I want to actually have mental health. You know, not always, you know, one day at a time. Hopefully, you know, I can make it through this week. I can make it through this month. I can make it through with my pills and all kind of stuff. I did not want that. I don't want the bare minimum. I don't want to sustain. I want to have an abundance in my finances, in my money, in my mind, in every single way. So if you are feeling depleted and depressed, I understand and I am with you, and we can get over this, and you do not have to stay there. And so this is video 1 of a series that I want to do some more parts to about depression. But you got this. You know, there is hope. There is not just holding on, there's overcoming. And you can't overcome, because I did. And I never thought that I would. I thought this was going to be something that I had every day of my life. I thought it was something that I would need to be taking pills for every day of my life. Like, I'm free. And I don't have to worry about going back, because I do certain things, and because I've believed certain things and shifted my mind, and just, I'll explain that. So if you did enjoy this video or relate to it in any way, please give it a thumbs up and just let me know if this does resonate with you, because I want to do more videos on depression and so many other subjects. And also subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and I will see you later. Bye.